How do people talk about white Americans?
In Poland, white Americans are seen as lazy. My mom often sees people walking to like the high school near our house in pajama pants.
Yeah.
So she just kind of finds that like crazy.
So they talk about white Americans as lazy and not clean.
Yeah.
And you like to clean?
Well, my mom is very big on cleaning the house every day and every Sunday. It's like a huge thing in our house that like, even if there's like one speck of dust on like the desk, it's like seen as dirty.
This is a Polish thing, man.
I'd say loud or obnoxious. Like, whenever like Sydney, it's a pretty big tourist destination. So, whenever you're kind of out and about, you can really tell when there's an American around. Because they're louder than everybody else and usually complaining about what their food is, and they're just like generally like much louder. That's what I think.
And so Olivia, you were shaking your head. Is that a similar thing? Loud? Poles?
Yeah, and like if an American goes to Poland to like just visit as like a tourist, you can pretty much tell who's American because of like their mannerisms, or also just like if you've ever been in like a queue line and like the American is kind of like known to kind of like lean over like or just kind of like I don't know how to explain it. I don't know, just kind of like lean over, like pop their hip a little bit while they're like standing.
Insert themselves.
Yeah.
Assert themselves.
Yeah. And Polish people are just kind of like, I don't know, they don't really like to be noticed. It's just like go in, get your stuff, that's it.
Yeah. How about you? How do they talk about white Americans?
Not in a good way. Yeah. Definitely like there's the stereotypes that everyone's obviously very fat, everyone's very rude. But I find it myself, like, especially like in the culture of Americans, I find me and like other English guys I know over here are very polite, very shy, or like the way they go around, like I walk through a bar and I go, sorry, excuse me, really sorry, can I get past? Whereas Americans will just blow right past me. It's like, I wasn't even there.
Do people talk about white Americans differently than they talk about, say, like black Americans? Or are they mostly all the same?
Pretty much, it's just American. There's no,
Veronica, how about you? Like, how are Americans talked about?
They're definitely like talked down upon. Like they're not very like
white Americans.
Yeah. Like,
dude, white people. We thought we were on top of the world, man. It turns out we're lazy, we're dumb, we're fat. We're ignorant. We're like all these things. Oh, my God. Dude, see that? It's good to be black, isn't it? All right, go ahead.
It's just like all this, like the stereotypes that you just listed, like they're always saying those. And like even because I'm the only like American born in my family, and like all of my family is in Europe, like grandparents, cousins, everyone. And like I can tell like they even make like I have an accent when I speak in Czech, like I have an American accent.
Yeah.
And like they're always like, oh, Veronica, you just said that word really funny. And I'm like, guys, I'm just trying to speak like a language. Just let me be.
Right. How about in Canada? How are they talking about white Americans?
They think they're dirty, mean,
Does that have anything to do with our current?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah?
They always talk about like politics in the US.
Yeah, okay. So dirty, mean.
Yeah, lazy.
So add that, white people, add that to the list. You're also mean.
Yeah, it's like everyone there is so nice.
Yeah. What's that?
Everyone there is so nice, and they like will go up there and it's like a culture shock almost. Like,
so how much are they just putting in the United States all Americans together in one group?
I mean, they do, like, they just generalize Americans. It's just like...
Just Americans?
Yeah.
So it's not like we're going to be any different. Like, no. I don't get a pass because I'm white.
No.
It's like I don't get... Okay. How about you, man? How do people...
Not bad at all.
It's not bad?
Not bad at all. Because, like, in
in Georgia, we're really known
Hold it tight.
In Georgia, we're really known for our hospitality.
Yeah.
So like if we
and
have
your food, by the way.
yeah,
But
yeah. So if we have someone from a different country come, especially America, like America's looked at somewhere you go if you want to make it out. So like if we have someone from America coming, like you can expect getting free food, free drinks from a lot of people.
Dude, hear that? And what about, let me ask you this. How about do you make distinctions between different Americans? Or is an American an American?
Like an American is an American, but like I would say older people, like in their 70s and 80s, who were part of the Soviet Union, they have more of like, there's more like racism like between them. But like the younger generation, like my
Way
age,
more racism against who?
like African Americans.
So like,
Yeah. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Would they make a distinction, the fact that he's Haitian? That wouldn't matter to them?
They might.
No, they wouldn't know where Haiti is, probably.
Exactly, but
Um,
like the younger generation though, it's like if you're an American, you're welcome.
yeah?
Yeah.
And so, it's cool? If he showed up as this American guy, like, it'd be like, if he showed up at a bar in Tbilisi,
Yeah.
right, in Georgia, if he shows up at a bar, it'd be like, dude, you're American. People would buy him a drink.
100%.
Yeah?
100%.
Guys, what's wrong? That's because you lost the war 250 years ago, man. You're still holding that against us. You know what I mean?
Do you guys agree with like how it's talked about? Like when you see white Americans, do you think the same thing that's been taught in your cultures?
When I first came over here, I was like expecting it to be like that, but the more time I spent over here, like I think they're a lot more exaggerated than I was first taught to like view Americans. Like I've spent I can't fly home for Thanksgiving, or I spend a week for spring break. I've had Americans that I know invite me back for a week, like lovely people. So it's definitely a stereotype and not something that's accurate, or what I found that's accurate in my 4 years here. So
What have you learned about white people, white Americans, by being in the U.S. that people back home don't understand?
I think a lot of white Americans kind of really dislike kind of being grouped in with other white Americans. That's what I've kind of noticed.
Uh-huh.
Like a lot of white Americans are pretty critical about the way that other white Americans act.
So like social class for them is or something like that? Or?
Yeah, something like that. Like, I mean, there's definitely a lot of like caricatures about your patriotic redneck American, but like, as there are some of those people, like I'm sure most of the people here wouldn't really want to be identified in the same kind of group as them.
To what degree do you look at white people in the United States and see differences versus put them all in one group?
I do think Americans are loud and obnoxious. Like, I don't think that's a bad thing though, and I think where I come from, I think we're a bit more loud and obnoxious than we want to admit. I think same with like being a patriot. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I look around and I probably see a lot of people who have very conflicting views with each other, and all kind of raised in a different part of America, which probably defines them more than if they're white or not.
Yeah. So you've like learned that.
Yeah, I'd say like calling an American from Texas and an American from New York City, like it's like they're from different countries almost.
In this class, when we talk about, hey, the people who are white, let me talk to the people who are white in here. Does that strike you as kind of odd? Or to what degree does it strike you as odd?
I mean, people like to group people like white, brown, Asian, black.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of just like an easy way that people want to kind of categorize everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, where I come from, I'm definitely seen as ethnic, and like it's a bit of a differentiation for me anyway, from being white there. But here I've kind of just accepted that it's just easier for people to call me white, and
Just to do that.
yeah, it doesn't hurt me.
Back in Poland, how do people call themselves? People who look like you and I. What do they
I'd say like Slavic,
Okay.
not white.
Not white? People don't use white a lot?
What they do, they're like, oh, look at that like white person that's on the street, or like look at that like if there's a lot of people, black people that visit Poland, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, look at that black person on the street. Like, typically they say like white people, but to themselves they refer as like Slavic.
So do people see themselves as a group? Because like in the United States, white people we see ourselves as a group, as a sociological category. Do Polish white people do that?
Yeah, there's not many differences between like every single Polish white person. I'd say like we're pretty similar in like the religious aspect, and like we all kind of look alike. So I would say that they group themselves as just like Slavic people all together, like white people all together. But like it would be different if like, let's say like a Ukrainian person came into the picture. They'd still call the Ukrainian person white or Slavic, but it would just be a different type of Slavic. Or like a different type of white.
Okay. Hey, Veronica, do white people in Czech Republic, for example, or Ukraine, is there a sense among other people that white people there think they're superior?
I think to a certain extent, yes, because I feel like in Czech, I can speak more about Czech than I can about Ukraine.
All right.
So in Czech, like they're just gonna say, "Oh, I'm Czech." Like it doesn't matter because like ethnically, like it's primarily white. So that's what like in their minds, that's how they view it. And so they're just gonna say, "Oh, I'm Czech." Like they're not gonna be like, "Oh, I'm white." But they just say I'm Czech instead.
Okay, I got you. So like the use of white as like that kind of racial category is not.
Yeah.
It's not ever present.
No, they're more like national than like.
Do people talk about how Americans do that?
No, not really.
Elliot, do Brits talk about how Americans do that? Wait, Brits, is that all right? Can I call you Brit? Yeah. Do Brits talk about how Americans like are labeling? We're always labeling ourselves.
I wouldn't say they talk about Americans because they don't really realize. A lot of them haven't been. It's so far away. But I think there's definitely a difference between Americans calling themselves black, white, Hispanic, Asian. Whereas in the UK, you kind of define yourself as where you're from. Like
It's a
someone's
nationality
Scouse,
thing.
or someone's Geordie, or someone's Brummie, or someone's a Londoner. Like, regardless of colour, like you more go off because football teams are such a big part of where you're from. So it's definitely different. Definitely.
Yeah.